All right. Welcome back to Bring the Juice. We got a hot episode today. It is hot as hell outside today in Fresno, California. One of Fresno's finest is in town, though. Kendall Milton, the two-time Natty champ. Got a lot of accolades. Current Philadelphia Eagle, though.
Yes, sir, for sure.
First we gonna rock, then we gonna fold, then we let it pop, don't let it go.
Kendall, long time coming, bro. Good to see you.
Appreciate you having me. Yes, sir. Made it happen.
Made it happen.
It took some time, but
Hey,
finally got back to the city, so.
all good things take time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kendall, let's just talk like Georgia. You're from Fresno. You ended up at University of Georgia. Obviously, nationally known as a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
RBU, arguably, I would tag it as it.
Okay.
What was the process of being a dude from Fresno, and why'd you decide on Georgia? That's the easiest.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, just looking at kind of all the schools that I had going between Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, Georgia, I got to a point that it was like I'd get my football opportunities at all the schools. So I wanted to look beyond football,
Right.
And so I started looking at, the schools, which kind of started to lead me to Ohio State and Georgia, just strength of their business schools and kind of the alumni base, around the country. Right. That was something that I took into consideration. And, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty cold in Ohio. So it kind of made it easy for me to go to Athens. But my experience at Athens, it was crazy, but it was enjoyable at the same time because, won two natties, you know what I mean? But it taught me a whole lot of things, like playing under Kirby Smart, like he's going to try you every single day. He has a loud mic, at practice, so he's on a microphone and,
It's calling motherfuckers out.
Calling you out, and he gonna use some choice words, you know what I mean? But, it built competition, it built, kind of what we were able to achieve. So
Right.
the whole experience at Georgia, it kind of shaped everything for where I'm at now, and it was a blessing, to be honest.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the level, I think people don't understand, and I said this multiple times on the pod, like, okay, people win championships because they uphold the standard.
Exactly.
Like, you understand, because obviously you've done this, but the recruits who go to Ohio State, LSU, Florida State, Texas, that highest tier level, shit, we're talking that, even Penn State's,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of big name school, anywhere in the SEC for the most part, some big time recruits going. And obviously it used to be, there was a Bama dynasty when we were growing up.
Exactly.
And now it is the Georgia dynasty. Shout out to you and the team. But like, the difference is that you guys consistently would succeed that standard every single day. Like, tell me about the standard at Georgia.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that you first said that because, looking back on kind of being in the midst of, we just went back to back, things like that. We actually said within the team, like, we remember growing up watching Bama, just whoop on everybody and that whole dynasty, and to think that, we are the kind of the start of that, Georgia dynasty. We accomplished those things to get us in that position. So, that was crazy. But I would say it was every day, every day that standard was upheld in practice. I remember we'd have Bloody Tuesdays, Wicked Wednesdays where, you better come out there ready because it's really like a scrimmage in practice. And even within the team, there would be times in the locker room where we'd be like, hey, we got 100 on offense, team run. We got 100 on you making real bets. Once money involved, people starting to go different type of, grind. But
Right.
I would say just every day, everybody kind of had that same mentality that we knew what we wanted, and we know that winning a natty is nowhere near easy. You gotta be different you gotta do different to be different. And that was something that we looked at every single day. Like, okay, we need to watch this much extra film. We need to, spend extra time on the field just to be able to get that extra, step ahead of everybody. Because at the end of the day, it was the SEC, college football playoffs. That's the best of the best. You know what I mean? So
the best.
If you just doing the bare minimum, you just gonna fall with the rest of them.
From the playoff standpoint, it's such a long season.
For sure.
Like, I know for a fact
You get it's a tournament.
No break.
You right back.
No break.
Working, you probably get 2 weeks off.
Bro, the natty this year, I think's January 23rd.
They extended that playoff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about that, and
People, dude, in the playoff.
That's wild. That's wild. I'm not gonna lie.
In the playoff, in this whole playoff expansion thing, talking on that, but my whole argument was that's great, cool. You know how many games that is?
And that's how I think, I feel like sometimes they don't think about it from the perspective of the player. You know what I mean? 'Cause
NFL season.
if you look at especially, the teams that are going to be playing within that extended playoffs, that's going to be a rough season. You know what I mean? But the one good thing about it that I feel like might be able to be, beneficial is, how there's always those few teams, those 2-3 teams that it's like, oh, they should have been in, like us last year,
Right.
Oh, they should have been in, this should have been that. So with the opportunity with that, everybody kind of gets a fair shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely think it's going to work out for the advantage. If you had to pick a perfect number for the college football playoff, what would it be?
I'd say 8 or
Yeah.
6 or 8, to be honest.
Yeah.
How much do they have it?
It's 12 now.
Yeah, 12 is wild.
I think 12 is too many.
Because they said the Natty this year is supposed to be like, what was the date of the Natty? It was like on 20th, like January 20th or something.
It's late.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Late.
And the turnaround, because I remember, I want to say it was the first Natty in Indianapolis that we won. Literally the day of the Natty, because the Natty is on that Monday.
Right.
School started that day. You know what I mean? Class started that day.
The semester started.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, we won the Natty, but then it's like, dang, right when we get back, we got class right away. Like, it's no real break. So I'm interested to see how the whole, playoff system works, because
Right.
I'm just glad that I'm out of it at this point, because I couldn't imagine having to, because by the end of the Natty already, the end of the playoffs, it already feels long. So to add all those games,
Right.
prayers up to the guys playing.
Boy, I think, again, like, bowl season it's tough, man. Like, the latest bowl game we played in was on Christmas Eve, December 24th. And I think, so like we lost the championship that year. So it was like December 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, some shit like that. 3 weeks till you play, though.
Exactly.
You're already beat up from going through winter ball,
All that.
spring ball, summer ball, fall camp,
Exactly.
season,
Straight to the season.
the ups, the downs, the ebbs, the flows, the emotions. And again, you're a student athlete. Like,
Exactly.
your finals are happening. You're trying to wrap up the school year. Yeah, that was hard. Like, that was a long time. And like, I couldn't imagine having to stretch it out like that. Focus of just like, yo, we came this far. Let's not lose track now, because we're just distracted off of just,
Exactly.
almost overwhelming this, right?
I feel like at a certain point, Kirby always said, keep the main thing. So it's like,
Right.
yeah, there's all the distractions. Yeah, there's a whole lot going on, but we just tried, it's tough at times, when you win in and it's to get all this attention. But if you could focus on the main goal, and especially the main thing that we did was we eliminated, the selfishness within the team. We eliminated, we need this 1,000-yard receiver, this 1,000-yard rusher. We need this guy to have this many tackles. Like, nah, it was as long as we get the job done, that's all we need, which is why, like, you normally don't see a lot of players from Georgia just getting those like extraordinary stats, except I think Brock Bowers did that last year. He's a freak, but but like, you normally don't see that, because like if you look across the board, we're distributing the rock,
Right.
all different ways, all different, and everybody's eating. In my opinion,
Right.
that makes it more fun, because at the end of the day, these are the dudes that, like you said, you going through winter workouts, spring ball, fall camp, and that fall camp and college grind is different. You know what I mean? So to go through all those things with, all your guys and see everybody win, that's why, when watching the past drafts, it's been so exciting, because it's like you seeing everybody achieve the dreams,
Right. You mentioned like Kirby a little bit here.
Mm.
And I know you mentioned that we all talked about the natties, but the concept of keeping the goose egg in the lose column,
Yeah.
right? Staying perfect.
Exactly.
I had an awesome interview with, the boxer Jose Ramirez around here.
Yeah.
So I interviewed Jose, and he was undefeated for like years, right? Still a champ, dog, love Jose. But like, we had a really cool conversation, and that's boxing. That's one dude, right?
It's one-on-one.
But just the concept of like being perfect. Sports is one of those things where you can be perfect.
True.
Like, you might sneak away. You might be facing a team that is, they're 4-6. You should be beating the crap out of them right now.
Yeah.
And it's fourth quarter. This is tight.
Exactly.
If you come away with the dub in the locker room, people are going to be a little quiet, like, that was too close.
Sure, yeah.
But at the end of the day, that next Monday, hey, we're still undefeated.
Yes,
We still got the
exactly.
job's finished, got the win. Wasn't pretty, but let it go.
Yeah. It's crazy you say that, though, because I could think back. That actually gave me a flashback. I think it was, I want to say my junior year. and we were playing Missouri.
Yeah.
And this was one of those games that we were literally down the whole game, like down till 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, we're losing. You know, the certain point where we're down by 2 touchdowns. And, you know, we always have that mentality, that composure mentality that it's like, yeah, they could be doing that, but as long as we keep chopping, you know, everything's going to work out. But this was one of those games that it was like,
yeah, we better.
it might slip away. Like, all I could picture was the Missouri fans storming the field. That's all I could picture. And I was like, I can't go for that. But we ended up getting the win. But, like, after the game in the locker room, all the leaders, we were like, nah, F that. Like y'all saw what we just did. Like, there's no way that we should be in a game like that. So right after that Monday practice, it was like, you know, it was like fall camp. You know what I'm saying? It was fall camp. It was, you know, we got to get the standard back. All the, you know, taking, you know, periods off, taking certain things off. Like, it's personal now. You know what I mean? And that was things that we did. You know, every time it was a close game, we took it personal, because at the end of the day, I don't feel like, you know, nobody should have been, you know, in a game with us,
right?
Especially, you know, during those moments.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure definitely is on. It's one thing to succeed; it's another thing to continuously succeed.
Yeah, to a point that people start preying on the downfall. That, you know what I mean?
When you got the ultimate target on your back, right? It's not like, oh, it's a big match. It ain't Buchanan versus Central where it's like, oh, it's two pretty good teams. Like,
yeah, exactly.
People are tuning in on ESPN to be like, I hope this upset happens type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Different target.
See, like, you play certain games and you see, you know, because everybody sees it, the little, you know, plus 60, plus 40, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, some games when they would have us in the losing columns, you know, we would take that personal, you know what I mean? Because we would just feel doubted in the sense that, you know, continuously doing things and people continuously trying to find, you know, nitpick little things and find things to try to doubt us. And we use that as motivation.
I'm thinking from like a back-to-back standpoint. How did you continue that standard and not let it fall after the first natty?
I feel like the first natty, you know, because the first natty, that was a team full of older players. You know what I mean? We were junior and senior heavy. So it was like the first natty, those were a lot of the guys that were playing. And then, but throughout the whole season, you know, practicing, there was a lot of younger guys. So I think within that draft class, it was like 14, 15 guys that, you know, went to the league, which with that's basically a whole new team that's getting rebuilt. You know, right. You have a draft class like that leaving. So it was really the younger guys that still had that standard, that these were the new leaders of the team. So we were able to uphold that standard. Right. So it was really just that shift that, you know, we knew what we had to get done. We knew what it took, and we just had to make it happen.
I've heard some Kirby Smart pregame speeches.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got the juice. He got the juice.
Sure.
Kirby Smart's got the juice.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, you know, because I'm always, you know, we taking the knee, we listening to coach, and I remember during those moments, I'd be shaking with tears down my eyes. Like, that's how, you know, that's how pumped he would get you. Like, the moment you walk out on that field, like, you feel that it's a flipping that switch.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he did that every single game. And the ones that I liked the most was when, you know, we would be having a bummy first half, you know what I mean? And we would come in at halftime, and, you know, he would, you know,
he started it on.
You get honest, and it's like, you heard a few of those. I think the Florida game got leaked, I think.
Yeah.
Certain ones of those got leaked, but those weren't even, you know, the worst ones, you know, because at the end of the day, he played. I think he still has the interception record at Georgia. Like, he was he played, so he has passion for the school. He has that player's passion. You know, that player's passion is different because
it's different.
You feel it different in your body, like, when it's game time. So everything that, you know, he has, he pours it into us, and, you know, that was the zone he got us in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't say everything he was saying. But, yeah.
I love that. When you got to Georgia, the whole concept of, like, the NIL wasn't a thing yet. Once it got turned on, how many did I mean, Georgia I feel like it's one of those schools where it changes a little bit. Changes your lifestyle a little bit. Can you talk about, like, what happened that first meeting?
Yeah, so I remember coming into Georgia, it was COVID year, you know what I mean? So for a lot of the time, I was back here in California, you know what I mean, at 2 to 3 months maybe, and went back to Georgia, and we really didn't have a fall camp. Our fall camp was probably 3 to 4 days, you know what I mean? Like, not a real fall camp at all. So going through that and then going into the next year, which was when NIL kind of started. And I remember because it was just like a lot of different stuff being said. You know what I mean? There was no real rules. It was kind of like what we said, the Wild West. Like,
Right, yeah.
it's just kind of a whole lot of experimenting. And they took us through a whole bunch of different kind of NIL prep meetings, like just getting financially and, learning how to do certain stuff, just kind of, trying to prep us. And I remember we had a team meeting of our own, and we had the agreement that, we're basically not going to focus on NIL. Like, nobody on the team is going to focus on NIL, because at the end of the day, if we have team success, everybody gets paid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and that really showed within the team that, you go back-to-back natties, now everybody's, benefiting off of it. And, we just had that mentality that everything's going to come if we handle business.
Right.
Like I said, keep the main thing first. And, it paid off for everybody.
Right.
And we're still reaping off of it today.
That
Been a benefit.
hell yeah. Did you have like a dream company you wanted at any point?
Like in terms of like running a company?
Oh no, like NIL wise that you hope you'd sign with.
I mean, to be honest, like I had some big deals. Like I ended up doing a partnership with Beats. That was pretty big, and doing stuff with like companies like Outback Steakhouse. And I feel like it's just in the moment of having those partnerships that it's like sheesh, like these are like Fortune 500 companies. You know what I mean? And it's like you have to kind of look back and be like, sheesh, like this is where college football kind of went.
Right.
'Cause I remember when Arian Foster, when he got in trouble at Tennessee, and when Todd Gurley got in trouble at Georgia, just thinking of the amount of money that, guys like that, like Todd Gurley in, when was it, 2013, how much he would have, made in NIL, just thinking things like that. But it's just crazy that we're in a time now that people in college are driving Lambos, and you know what I mean?
Crazy, bro.
Like, it's just crazy where it is, but, it's been a long time coming. So I feel like it kind of made it worse with the build up. You know what I mean? Because it's just like everything coming at once. But it did change the game in a sense, though.
It does make you think. I like how you brought up Todd Gurley. I always I've always this question, like, who would be the highest paid NIL player of all time? It has to be Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel would have. Yeah.
Clean house.
Johnny Manziel would have, because he was Johnny Football. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
that was a household name. Like, I remember his freshman year turning them on, and I think he beat Bama his freshman year, things like that. Making the plays he made too, because it wasn't like he was just like in the pockets just exactly. You know what I mean? So I think Johnny Manziel would have been.
Has to be.
Yeah.
So I did my research on like a pro does.
For sure.
But I just know from like growing up and knowing you that you started getting love early from colleges, and that standard stayed high. At what point in your life internally, and I know you have a great support system, did you go like, okay, let's ball out in high school, let's get to the right college, let's do our work there, and let's make it to the league? Like, when did the flip switch of like, this is a long play, I'm not just out here having fun scoring touchdowns?
Man, to be honest, because I got my first offer in 8th grade. I can remember the whole way it pictured out. I was at an All-Star game in Dallas. It was called the Brett Cooper All-American game. And I remember during the practices, we had a day where it was kind of like fastest man competition. You know what I mean? And, beat all the like 8th graders in my group, started beating all the 9th, 10th, and then ended up like just winning the whole thing overall, beating all the high schoolers and everything. And I remember, that night it was a little banquet, and it was a, big Samoan Polynesian guy, he had came to me. It was me and my mom. My dad, he was on the podium, you know what I mean? So he was like helping with the awards and stuff. So it was me and my mom at the table. And, he walked over and he's like, Kendall, nice to meet you, introduced himself. And he was like, is this your mother right here? And she was like, yes, I'm his mother. And he said, I just want to let you know that, I just confirmed it with the head coach, and we're going to offer you a scholarship to BYU. And this was in 8th grade, you know what I mean? And just thinking of, I'm just sitting at the table, minding my business, not even, it's just me and my mom.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom started freaking out like, oh, my dad's name is Chris. So Chris, get over here. You know what I mean? And, just kind of looking back on that was kind of the first moment that I kind of got a taste of it, because at that point, I wasn't thinking about offers, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't thinking about, oh, I need to win because the college coach is here. Didn't even know, like, he didn't identify himself as a coach, you know what I mean? So at that point, that was kind of the flip moment that it was like, okay, like I could do something with this. And I remember going through my freshman year, I picked up schools like San Jose State and Oregon State and things like that, and Fresno State as well. And then my junior year, I want to say, that was when every single day, like I would either get called out of class or I'd get a DM or something to be like, can we, call at this time? You know what I mean? And I was basically getting 1 to 2 offers, every day, to the point that I had like 43 or 44 offers, you know what I mean? So just at that moment, that was kind of like, okay, I could do something with this. And it's funny because I got like 30, 35 offers to this point. But the moment that I got the Bama offer and I posted the Bama offer, I remember my boy Brock Jones, we came in, we came in some morning workouts and he was like, oh, so you think you the shit now, huh? Man, it's just funny, but it's like certain things, like when you're sitting in the office, with Coach Saban or, you know what I'm saying, Kirby Smart or, you know what I'm saying, all these historical coaches that have built these legacies and programs. And when you're sitting in the office having a face-to-face, it's like almost a surreal moment. Like with Coach O at LSU, like remember watching him in The Blind Side.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's things like that once you kind of get in the midst of it, you really don't even think about it. You just kind of living through the moment. Like sometimes you don't even be looking at like the bigger picture and being like, sheesh, I'm really in it. But, it was really, once I kind of got to the end and I got to Georgia, that was just when I remember my running back coach, Coach McGee, he told me that he's going to push me every day to be able to, reach the goal. So I feel like at that point, the mindset of where I wanted to go was already kind of set. You know what I mean? It was already kind of developed and we just kept building and kept pushing and, just very blessed to be in a position now.
I love that. I love that. Shit, was Fresno State ever in the cards being a local guy?
I mean, it was definitely in the cards, but like I was really never recruited by Fresno State. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there was, I'm not going to lie, there was like definitely times that, me and Cropper would talk and I'd be like, damn, like it would be kind of crazy to be,
hometown dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like just kind of something like that, just having all the kind of attention, I would say in a sense, and having all the, notoriety and just, because at that point I was a 5-star, I think I was number 3 running back in the country, something like that. So like it was definitely like in the thought to stay home, but I never really, had real like interests. I would say like I was never really recruited by Fresno State. So
yeah,
yeah.
The fuck, guys.
Yeah, but I understand it though. You know what I mean? Like I understand it. It's not like I'm salty or nothing.
No.
My brother went to Fresno State. You were with my brother at Fresno, so
Shout out Cologne.
I got a lot of love for Fresno. I done got big bros like Keyshawn and all type of guys that helped me out. You know what I'm saying? Aside from my big brother, I had a lot of other guys that helped me out. So it's definitely a blessing. I remember being at Buchanan. I look in the stands and there'll be 5, 6 Fresno State dudes. So it's like I always got love for the dogs.
Of course, baby. I love that. What about the you're in your journey, like no journey's ever smooth, right? Oh, yeah. And we've talked about being part of it, going undefeated, all that. There's been a lot of ebbs and flows, and like in sports, nobody really talks about the emotion of the game as much. I know that you got hit with like the injury bug at some point.
Exactly.
And there's a couple different viewpoints on the injury bug. Like, okay, obviously if you hurt, this is just an easy example. You hurt your ankle, you can't go. Yeah. You're gonna go till you can't go, best believe it, but you can't go. And now not only are you like on the sidelines, doing rehab or doing whatever you got to do, you're also losing behind on another dude getting your reps. Exactly. Right? And now it's hard to wrap your mind around because most of the time your room, it's your boys.
Exactly.
And on Saturdays you want to see him eat. Yeah, exactly. But internally, like, you're grinding, man. This is your life right here. Mm-hmm. So how is your mental shell, that calloused mindset developed throughout, your journey of getting hit with the injury bug?
Yeah, no, it definitely, I would say, took time because I remember my freshman year, I had a really good freshman year. It was getting to the point that, I was, being looked at, at a very high level, especially as a running back from Georgia, getting first quarter running reps, against schools like Bama and Tennessee, like getting within that first quarter rotation. So, getting hit with when I first sprained my MCL, that was definitely kind of the first, like damn moment, because never really had dealt with no real injury, never had to, sit out time, miss time. So that was kind of the first moment. So, that was definitely a time that I felt that sense of kind of depression, you know what I mean?
Tough.
Like, especially when it's in the middle of the season and it's, you see everybody going to practice, doing workouts, and you have a sleeve with a brace on and, limping around and can't really do nothing. Like you said, it's tough. But, just kind of going through and especially getting to the back end of my college career, at a certain point when you deal with stuff, like you kind of just start looking at it from a different sense, you know what I mean? So at a certain point, I grew the mindset that everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, I only can do the controllable. I can't focus on, what's going on out there. I can't focus on, I can't think about when I'm gonna get back. All I could think about is what I'm doing right now to, prepare myself to get back, things like that. So I would say at a certain point, I kind of grew like a bigger sense for not really getting frustrated, but kind of just, letting God just kind of take the wheel and focus on, okay, this is part of the journey that was made for me. You know what I mean? And that was really kind of the mindset that I built.
It's much easier said than done.
100%.
Because when you get in that, like, there's such a window of opportunity in this thing, man. And like,
you only get 13 games. Like, you practice the whole offseason.
Yeah.
Only 13 games. And, when you're not able to capitalize on all those 13 games, it's disappointing at a point.
And I feel like football players, one thing, and there's all these debates out of what sport's the hardest, what sport, the basketball shit, that was insane. But I don't think people understand, like, you're wired where you're like, I could go.
Football, it's what do they say? It's 100% rate that at some point you will like deal with some type of injury.
Oh,
like you can't escape it. It's what do they say? It's a collision sport. It's a gladiator sport. Like, if you look at it, it's really a bunch of, guys crashing out. You know what I mean?
It's really wild if you break it down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at it aside from, okay, it's a sport, like, it's wild what, like you said, the switch that you're able to flip to get into that moment of, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to, dominate somebody for 4 quarters, things like that.
It's a switch that is very unique to flip. And I'll say, like, I don't know how you would compare it. Other sports, there's switches, don't get me wrong, but there's a different type of adrenaline. And
physicality that, like, you know what I mean? It's the physicality that you're looking at the guy on the other side of the ball. And,
dude,
like,
you do things you do things you didn't know you could do.
Sure.
You're like, damn, like I had that dog in me.
Like, especially like times like you be in the game, because a lot of things are just kind of their instincts.
Yeah, reactive.
With certain times, I remember times in the game where I would hit a spin move and I would get to the sideline like, I ain't never practiced. I ain't never worked on that. Like, where'd that come from? But,
yeah.
I love the sport just because it's one of the sports that it's like you playing with so many of your brothers that you work with, that it's like when everything's going good, y'all come together. But even when everything's going bad, y'all come together at the same time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love the sport.
Philly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about the journey from you're done in Georgia and now you're in Philly. Let's start with the combine. You get the combine invite.
Yeah. So first, I remember I was training in Frisco at Sports Academy.
Yeah.
And that was when, that was just where I decided to, because Mo Wells, he was a big name. He was somebody that I trusted to kind of, help guide me on my journey, as well as B-Mac, Ursula, all the trainers over there. They really, kind of helped prep me for the journey, and I really trusted them to, put me in the best position. So I went out there, and I remember getting the combine invite, and even though it was expected, it was like surreal when I got that email,
Right.
Because it's like you open your email and you're invited to the 2024, NFL combine.
Right.
It's like, sheesh, like all this is happening, especially when you get off that plane and everybody's landing at the same time, and you walk through the stadium and you see the 40-yard dash setup, the bench setup, the cones and all that, everything like that. It's just kind of a surreal feeling,
Right.
But it's crazy because people don't know the combine, like those days are so long.
Oh,
you know what I mean? From the morning to the end, like, especially like just meeting with teams, because it's almost like a speed dating type of,
yeah.
like you spend 15 to 20 minutes with each team, and it's like right when you leave from one, you go to the next, and it's just constant back to back, and you're doing things like trying to show recall on the playbook and certain things and assignments and, you know, drawing up this formation with this play, what would you do if they rotate the safety here? You know, just things like that. And it's like, it's definitely mind challenging because at a certain point, you know, you talk for a while, you start to get tired. You start to, you know, when you start using your brain, especially football talk, like you have to really think. So, you know, it's definitely long days, but, you know, like I said, it's surreal. Like it was a blessing just being in that situation because every year, you know, you watch the combine on TV and it's like, you know what I mean? Everybody sits back and they watch the 40s. They watch, you know, the drills and stuff like that. So to be in the moment, it was just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. We've had some cool interviews with dudes who have gone on the combine and they said the exact same thing. It's just like, yeah, you go run a 40 and all that, but like the mental side, they really try to test you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're definitely going to try you. And, you know, I've heard, it didn't happen to me, but I've heard like some crazy questions that, you know, the scouts and stuff would ask. Like I heard some crazy, you know.
We had we go to the East-West Shrine Bowl every year and I know that they're going to ask some crazy questions. And some of them, you're like, yo, this isn't even football related. Like, yeah, there's no right or wrong answer, but guys just want to know like what kind of character you are, how your mind thinks and all this. And this year at the East-West Shrine game, we asked 2 questions to everybody, right? 2. Okay, one of them was, and Kendall, let's hear some answers here. One of them was, all right, you're on your way to the stadium on the bus. You haven't had pregame meal yet, though. You have 2 hours till kickoff. Bus breaks down. You're given $20. You have to go buy your pregame meal from 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven?
What you buying?
I got $20.
You got $20.
I'm gonna be real. I'd probably just buy like 2 protein bars. You know what I mean? And then water. Cause I'm not like the way that like I work, I know like before practice, before the game, I got about 3 hours to have like a good sized meal.
Yeah.
After
you
that,
gotta be light.
that's what I'm saying. After that, like it's too late. Like I just gotta have something light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause I'm one of those people like I'm good. Like if I have a workout in the morning, I'm not gonna eat breakfast before the workout. I'm gonna eat breakfast after the workout. So,
Yeah. Oh, me too.
you know what I'm saying? So I can play. I know I could play on a, you know, empty stomach.
Yeah.
And plus at our games, they got fruit snacks and applesauce on the sideline. So I'll be good.
Love that.
And you go to the trainer, can I get some fruit snacks? Collier gonna get you right.
There you go. The other question was, if you had to beat one in a fight between a gorilla, a grizzly bear, and a lion,
I'm going lion.
you're going for the lion.
A gorilla wants
Gorilla's for sure out.
a bear stand up is like 7 feet, 8 feet tall.
No, the paw's this big.
You get hit with the paws over with. Like it's really a lose-lose situation.
You're gonna die.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But a lion, like, you know, hope for the best, you know.
Maybe like try to really get him in a chokehold or something like that. I don't know. Jake, what was the other question?
So blood and
I think that was it. I don't know. Anyways, there's some crazy answers though. And dudes loved it because at the East-West Shrine game, they were getting interviewed by all these teams. I come in,
fun one, finally.
bro. I come in with the hats. We easily had the most professional setup. Everyone else is like, you know, iPhone. They're like this, and I'm just like, hey, bro, post up, chill. I'm cool. I was like, you know, we might have shot of tequila, a little something.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, bro, you're the boy, bro. So we're the hot commodity. Actually, this year too, Frank Gore Jr. was there.
Yeah, I remember being with Frank at the combine.
And so he's at East-West Shrine.
It's like Pops.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we're out there, and I'm like, interviewing. I'm like 15 dudes in right now, and I'm waiting to get Frank Jr. And I'm looking, and all these dudes in the corner got 49ers gear on. I want to go take a piss or some shit, and I'm like, that's fucking Frank Gore, right?
Frank Gore, yeah.
And bro, you can't miss Frank Gore. Like that man's built.
Yeah.
Still.
You got Frank on the show?
So I go up. I go, yo, Frank. I said, I'm named after you. I'm also Frank. Yeah. I said, I heard we look alike. And he started laughing, dabbed me up. I said, Frank, I got a gritty sports pod called Bring the Juice. 3 minutes of your time. I don't want to ask you anything you don't want to get asked. Just talk mindset of chasing greatness. That's it. And all these 49ers guys are staring at him and me like nobody's supposed to talk to him, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, man, let's go.
Let's do it, yeah.
So all these media people are interviewing, you know, so-and-so. I'm like, fuck this. I got Frank Gore, baby.
You winning.
We sat down. He grabbed, I had like this hat in red. He goes, this is 49ers red right here, baby.
Facts.
Throws it on. We talked. I thought it was going to be 2 minutes. It was like 10 minutes, 12 minutes long.
Live though, yeah.
Great dude.
Yeah.
Chilled. And, I was asking him like, what it's like, raising your son and putting him in this position and how proud you could be as a dad and all great questions. I mean, I was on my A game, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he left. He's rocking this shit around the media floor.
Yeah.
And right before, where were we? Dallas. So we finished and we had to fly out that night. And bro, bring the juice. We're on a budget. We could use some more sponsors. Shout me out. What you got for me? But for some reason, we were the last people to board the plane. Like our tickets got fucked up or some shit. Fuck American Airlines. But we're getting on. And with a big old hoodie on, Frank Gore slips right on. And I go, and he's getting his shit in first class. We're like seat like 72 C and D or some shit. I said, hey, Frank, bring the juice, huh? And he turns around like, who the fuck is this dude? I'm like, what's up? And he dabbed me up. He's like, what's good? I said, this seat taken? He's like, yeah, bro. He goes, come holler at me. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But he was a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Anyways.
That's dope. Not for sure. That's dope. Out of everybody be getting Frank Gore, that's
Bro, people were like,
out winning, yeah.
Everyone stopped interviewing. They were watching it and shit.
Nobody interviewed him, you know what I mean?
No, nobody could get his ass. I was like, come on, Frank. That's probably one of our top guests for sure. All time. You're up there too, Kendall. Don't
So I appreciate that.
Don't worry. I mean, I love that experience, man. And I the fact that you finished the combine and, you got the undrafted chip on your shoulder now.
Exactly.
Did you have options or was it always like, I'm leaning towards the Eagles. I had a good talk with them and all that. Like how that landing spot happened?
So originally, it was kind of, pre-draft leading up, it was kind of a situation that, between just everything, hearing from different teams, it kind of had the idea that, was definitely going to get drafted, you know what I mean? So sitting through, day one, kind of knew day one wasn't, really realistic. So kind of was chill. Day two, was really tuned in. Day three, super tuned in and, was really, in a sense, kind of disappointed in the end. But at the same time, I had my family with me. I had my little cousins. I had, all type of people. So I wasn't going to really, show that. But at a certain point, I started getting, a bunch of just different calls from the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Saints, and they basically all kind of offered, the undrafted contracts and everything. And just kind of looking first off of what the contract presented, second, the situation, getting myself into the organization, what would kind of apply to me as a running back, you know what I mean? Because I feel like, especially going into the league, it's easy to fall into a system that doesn't really benefit your abilities and your skill sets. Like it doesn't really match up. So just kind of looking at, the way the offense is, the structure of the team, it kind of just, made it easy for me because one, I had, I think 5 teammates already there. So it wasn't like I was going into a new situation. And, I just felt like this was an opportunity to really, show what I'm capable of and show the things that I could put, on film. So, I'm definitely happy with my decision. The time spent going through rookie mini camp, OTAs, it's been nothing but, just good energy. So I'm excited to get back and get ready for training camp.
It's a hell of a backfield you guys got, bro.
Sure, exactly.
I think it's deep as hell.
Exactly.
How's Saquon been?
Saquon, he's definitely been a great, leader in the room. You know what I mean? He's, let me know things to focus on to be able to, put myself in the best position, like special teams. And, I've been trying to follow his pre-practice regimen because, if anybody knows, NFL warm-up is not like college warm-up. It's not 15 to 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Everybody kind of has to, once the meeting's in, you got to have your own routine to get loose and, do your own things, whether it's hip mobility or it's, just doing extra little runs or stuff like that. Everybody has their own build up to prepare themselves. And I've tried to just, just kind of take little notes off of things that he does to make him successful because, me personally, I feel like he's going on year 5 or 6. And, for him to still be in the league and still be productive and doing the things that he's doing, that's something that I want to get info on, to be able to prolong my career. So in terms of, when you're eating before practice, what you're eating, what you're doing, pre-practice, what you're doing post-practice,
Right.
All those things, how you're studying the playbook. I've tried to, get a real good idea from the vets to, benefit me.
Right. That's awesome. What about your mindset? And I know we talked about it a little bit with the Georgia culture, as well as being an 8th grader, getting this love. But, on those days, let's say you are healthy and, things aren't cooking the way you want it to. And every athlete has those days where you get up, it's time to get up out of bed, and you just ain't feeling it, baby.
Yeah.
You just ain't feeling it.
Yeah.
What's the kick in the ass? What's the little ear, fuck am I trying to say? Voice in your head. Ear. Voice in your fucking head that's like, hey, we got to go attack greatness today.
I mean, I feel like that's been kind of built within me since I was like in kindergarten. The whole time going through elementary school, my dad, he owned a gym really for like athletes and things like that to do the agility stuff and do stuff like that. So I remember, being in elementary school, when that bell rang, a lot of kids are going to go home and get on the video games. Shoot, me and my friends were going, we was going to get some work in, you know what I mean? And even at Alta, right after school, I'd go to the field and get work in. So it was just like things like that. There's always going to be those days that you don't want to work, especially playing college football. There's a lot of days that you wake up and body feels like shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't want to run. Like we talk about fall camp. A lot of people don't know fall camp will really question if you want to do this shit or not.
Bro.
I mean, like, there was a lot of times that like you get back to the hotel at 9:45, you know what I mean? And by that time you're shot, your body's tired, and you got to eat dinner. And if you don't eat dinner and go straight to bed, you waking up at 6:30 the next morning and you hurting. You know what I mean?
You can't do
Just
this.
things like that, just prepared me. You know what I mean? Just going through, like, I always say, if somebody brings stuff harder than we did at Georgia, then, credit to them. But like we did some crazy stuff there to really prepare all of us for, just getting where we wanted to get to.
Right. I feel like you couldn't, there's probably a very select few programs in the country where you could go and it prepares you for the NFL, and Georgia's in that for sure.
Because like I said, Kirby's going to try you every single day.
Yeah.
And he don't care if your feelings get hurt. He don't care if you know what I mean? Like, he one of the coaches that, he'll tell you if you can't handle it, then leave. He'll say that in a meeting. And he always says, like, every time in a meeting, he would say there's not one person in this room that's not replaceable, including himself. He would say that, including myself. You know what I mean? And that's a reality that goes from college, and especially in the NFL. Like, that's shown week by week that everybody is replaceable.
Right.
So just having that mindset and just growing that mindset and knowing that you got to bring your best game every single day.
Right.
That just, made it like consistent for me.
Yeah. Fall camp is a different beast too.
Man.
Different beast. I think that's one of those things too, where when you meet somebody for the first time and like you find out they played college football, I automatically have a small extra token of respect for them, because I'm like, if they say, yeah, I played like 6 months, like, which 6 months?
Yeah. Did y'all stay in a hotel?
Nah, we stayed at our houses.
So every day, I think it was like, I want to say 17 days, all you see is the facility, and across you from the facility is the hotel. So literally, that's all you see for like all those days is walking back and forth. And that makes it like more tiring, because you don't even get back to your own bed. You don't get no time. Like,
I feel like you're on the road.
Exactly. Like, you wake up in the morning and you go down for breakfast at 6:30. You walk into the facility at 7 across the street. And it's just,
yeah, that's shitty. Stay in the hotel. We didn't have to stay in the hotel.
It was smooth hotels though. You know what I mean? It was,
right.
I think it was called the Georgia Center. It was a smooth hotel, a nice hotel, but it hits different when you get to stay at home in your own bed.
You just like your own bed.
You say nothing like your own bed. Exactly.
Nothing like your own bed. But it's tough. It wears on you. And like, I don't know if you guys ever had, for me, like, the meetings is what kills you in fall camp.
Yeah. I got used to it. Like,
first, second one's hard.
Facts. But I remember like my running back coach, Dale McGee, man, our running back meeting, it would be like dim lights, you know what I mean? And he's not like just like a super loud, like, yeller, you know what I mean? So, at a certain point, you just get used to it, which now it makes it easy because the meeting room is lights, it's bright lights in there and things like that. But, for the meetings at the fall camp, that was always, pretty smooth for me, because after practice, I'd give me my little nap in. You know what I mean?
Fall camp naps essential.
You would fall them, like, and we had like, good little lockers. You know what I mean?
You had the pods.
Yeah, we had, but like our thing, it didn't recline, but it was cushioned seats. So all you needed, but we had couches in the locker room. I think like the same ones y'all had.
Yeah.
The couches in the locker room. So like every day, if you didn't catch that couch,
Oh, bro.
people were trying to fight to catch that couch.
Yeah.
And that was, I'd have been knocked out on those. And you really can find, it's funny because in the facility, you start seeing like people find any
Little corners and
Yeah,
shit.
you could find like people in the lobby with their little, like with a sheet on in the lobby.
Oh, bro.
Was on a little bench, you know, cuddled up. It'd be the big guys or whatever. You just got to find laid out on the floor everywhere.
Lay down on the floor, throw like one towel around my head.
I think somebody brought an air mattress too, like an inflatable one.
Yep.
In the locker room, you just inflate it. Boom. That was a smart idea.
It's tough, bro.
No, it's a grind. Like
It's a grind.
And the thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is like teams are so close because, you know, sometimes some people can't make it through without their brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like some people can't, you know, wake up or get through without the guy next to them, which is why like, you know, football relationships last 20 years because, you know, you start actually growing a real relationship, you know what I mean? Like a brotherly relationship.
Hell yeah. I mean, when you go through that type of adversity and hell together, it makes it extremely difficult. Did you guys ever have like a hell week or a hell day or anything? I mean, I know it was always hell, but like...
That's what I was going to say. It was especially like winter workouts, you know what I'm saying? And
they try to do some fucked up shit that time.
And then like fall camp, like Coach Smart, he was one of those guys that, you know, he's going to put us in the elements so it works to our benefit. So I remember, I think it was last year's fall camp, it was like 105, 106 degrees and plus the Georgia humidity, you know what I mean? And we're practicing in the stadium and the stadium is no shade, you know what I mean? And I remember like days during fall camp, I'll never forget. I'm not gonna name drop, but one of my guys, he ran a go ball, and I was on the sideline watching. Like I was standing on the end zone, so where the quarterback threw it, it was kind of right in front of me. He ran a go ball, and he dove for the ball, and right when he hit the ground, full body lockup. You know what I mean? And
oh man,
things like that like that fall camp stage, you really push your body like, and
I've seen full body lockup.
Yeah, like you'll never think that like you can push through. Like when you can during fall camp because that's going to test your mental toughness every single time. You know what I mean?
Bro, the worst thing is like having a hard practice and then the next practice, your cleats or your pads or your helmet's like still a little wet.
Oh, no. See, we had little vents. So.
We had little vents too, bro. This shit did not work.
It didn't work. And we had like a little, it was like a room in the back where...
It's that Georgia money, bro.
No, it wasn't even like nothing crazy. It was just like in the back, and it was one of those like those big ass fans, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just they had it on all night, and they had all the cleats kind of just
lined up
towards them, and people with their gloves over there. But yeah, the ones in the lockers, like those didn't work most of the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
the ones up top.
Yeah, so sometimes you would just naturally put your cleats there and come back the next day, boom, soaked.
Yeah,
honestly, you got to be good with the, you know,
equipment manager.
Yeah, get your cleats when you need.
This is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
What was your favorite uni combo at Georgia?
I mean, Georgia's so like, it's just traditional. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I'll say my favorite one was probably the red. No. It was my freshman year. We played Cincinnati, and we played them in the Peach Bowl, and we wore like black jerseys with the gray pants, but like. They had like the collar around it, like the dog collar. And that was one of the only times we wore black because Coach Smart, he was he was super superstitious. You know, he was like looking back on the games that Georgia wore, you know, black. It was always like either close to upsets or it was like a nail biter. So he was like real superstitious that like, nah, we're not wearing the black. Which makes sense. Like I don't knock it, you know.
Hey, if they ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. I like those black jerseys though.
I like that shit.
Those were fire.
So what do you want to do after ball? After this long career?
So I know the main thing, because I've always, since I was a little kid, I've been a car guy. Like I was a kid that when I was, you know, back living at home, you know, every day watching car videos on the TV, just learning different stuff. So what I want to get into, I want to own car dealerships, but also, you know, auto body shops and, you know, redesign, build, those type of things. And just being able to, you know, because I love cars. I love being able to learn about different engines and different makeups and how different things, you know, work with each other to produce, this, things like that. So being able to be around that, all day and, to be around the passion all day. You play football every day because you have a passion for it.
Right.
So when football ends, to be around another passion every day, that's what I want to get into.
You gonna do it here, you think? Or you do it in Georgia or Philly or wherever you
say? I would say I would like at a certain point want to just, grow it till it's kind of like a nationwide thing, you know what I mean? To have different shops. Because I feel like that's where, like create kind of a monopoly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Franchise it almost.
Exactly. KM Motorsports or something.
Oh, you got the name down and everything.
I just came up with that right now. Yeah.
No, baby, it's the juice.
Okay, yeah.
What is, I kind of fucking love that, bro. I really love that shit. That's a great idea.
But yeah, no, that's been my passion. Like, you guys, the guys at the Clovis Dodge, like when I was in high school,
right?
I used to just pull up over there, and like that was when they first started dropping like the Hellcats and stuff like that. So I would go over there and just look at them and just, ask questions and stuff like that. Like, it's always been a passion for me, cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Kendall, this has been great, man. Anything else you got for me?
And I appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that took a little
It's all right.
to make it happen. But like you said, great things take time.
Absolutely. Well, be sure to follow Kendall on the gram. Bring the Juice Nation, my army of grit. Stay fired up. Get your piss hot. Check them out in Philly this year.
Sir, let's do it. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I love it. I got to come out to Philly, man. I've heard great things. I've heard great things.
It's definitely, it's like it's so much history in the city and it's so much scenery that it's like you go out there and you could just walk around and just feel a different vibe.
Yeah.
The fans are so passionate that it just makes you want to go that much harder, knowing that, people that, that have their own stuff going on, that have everything they're dealing with, that invest that much time and that much energy,
right.
in an organization that really kind of built the organization, because at the end of the day, all the players are from different places. They're the ones that, have stayed there and, remain fans through different coaches, different players, winning, losing, you know what I'm saying? They have that hand in the team. So just being in the city like that, like it's just a crazy feeling.
Philly, you got a good one. Get your piss hot, stay fired up. Kendall Milton, everybody.
Sir.
We'll see you next week.